4 months ago, a big publisher reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to read this book called Dawn of the Firebird. Little did I know that saying yes to reading and reviewing this book would send me on one of the strangest and also most unsettling journeys of my booktube career so far. At first, when I said yes to reading this book, I thought I had come across an author called Mughal Rana, the author of this book, behaving like a narcissist and a serial harasser online. But little did I know that I would fall into a deep rabbit hole on the internet where I've actually uncovered evidence to the opposite, that this author is allegedly being serial harassed and stalked by another person on the internet. I've been sitting on this story for more than 4 months, researching it and trying to verify everything I'll show you into this video. And I have been really worried about posting this video because what I'm going to be covering today is toxic. But after learning everything I've learned, I feel like someone needs to speak up, and that's what I'm doing today. So this is the story of Rana Mughal and the attempts to destroy her career before it has even really started. So this story starts all the way back around 4 months ago when Bloomsbury Publishing reached out to me and asked if I wanted to read this book. And obviously I went to the Goodreads page and what I saw was shocking. Not only did this book have incredibly low ratings on Goodreads, but the page was filled with horrifying reviews. Due to recent waves of mass reporting and harassment, I have decided to prioritize my safety and use a throwaway account to profess my thoughts on this book. I don't usually leave reviews, especially for books I can't bring myself to finish, and I'm quite nervous about saying anything on this book as I know several readers who were viciously bullied by the author and her sister after they left reviews below 5 stars. This is the worst book I've ever read. I would write a longer review, but the author is clearly obsessively stalking her Goodreads and got my original review deleted. Every review that has ever critiqued this book has been visually harassed or mass reported into oblivion and deleted. DNF, no comment, this is going to get mass reported and deleted by the author anyway. So the author and her friends and family are harassing me and reporting all her negative reviews and successfully got my original DNF review deleted. What the H? After another round of mass reporting, a certain egoistic, narcissistic author who cannot handle criticism and has a long history of bullying, intimidating and harassing reviewers has gotten my review deleted for the 4th time. And there's more reviews like this one and also this one are all saying the same thing. The author behind this book is allegedly serial harassing reviewers and authors, sending her friends and family after anyone that rates this book below 5 stars. Now, when I read this, I was absolutely horrified. Sometimes you see maybe one strange review on a Goodreads account and be like, oh, I'm not sure if that's a troll or not. But seeing so many reviews, basically all stating the same things, was truly shocking. So obviously, when you hear so many people stating that an author has a reputation for harassing reviewers and has a long history of visually bullying reviewers, I knew there must be loads of stuff online about this horrible author and what she's actually doing. So I searched the internet for evidence. I was like, there must be so many people talking about this. And I searched and I searched and I searched and I found nothing. I found nothing online about these allegations that so many people were talking about. I don't know if you noticed, one of the reviews mentioned that this author has a long history of bullying reviewers, and I was confused. Where is this long history? I've been looking on Reddit, I've been looking on Twitter, I couldn't find anything. So that was the first time a red flag popped up in my mind, but obviously I did not know what was going on here. So I did what any sane person would do. I started taking screenshots of all these reviews, and then on a weekly basis for months, I checked the Goodreads profile to see if these reviews were actually deleted. And guess what? A lot of the reviews, if not every single review you saw at the beginning of this video on Goodreads, are now deleted. They have been deleted. So I started thinking, well, is this evidence that the author is actually behind the scenes pulling strings, using her publisher and sending her friends and mass reporting reviews? Because these reviews that I just been reading to you are not on her Goodreads profile anymore. But there were still some things in my mind that just did not add up. Why did I not see anyone talk about this horrible author doing these things if so many other people on Goodreads were talking about it? It just did not make any sense. So I decided I need to wait more to see more information coming out. So I waited and waited. I waited 2 months until finally I saw a TikToker actually talking about the situation, and this is what she said.
There's something very strange going on in the Goodreads reviews for this book. When you go to check out the Goodreads reviews for this book, something weird is going on. Let's look at one of the top reviews for this book. This person talks about how the author is harassing the reviewers. The author's associates are harassing the reviewers for writing negative reviews in DNF reviews. Obviously, this is pretty concerning, right? And they say that you can email them for more details. This is what originally caught my attention about this book, that people were talking about this negative experience that they'd been having with the author and how they weren't going to read the book as a result. And I was like, well, I'm not going to read the book then, because what if I don't like it? Like, I don't want to be harassed. But then I started looking at some of the other negative reviews here. This person DNF'd the book. They clearly didn't enjoy it. But when you go to their profile, that's weird. They almost exclusively review books in Spanish. And yet they picked up this random arc of an English book. A lot of the negative reviews here come from private or new accounts or have almost the exact same text copy-pasted, or review primarily another genre, and this is like the only epic fantasy book that they've reviewed.
Alright, and I'll leave the full link to this TikTok in the description down below, but this was basically, it started confirming some of my suspicions I had. There's something really strange going on with these reviews, and this TikToker here basically confirmed that something is going on here. So what is it? So over those 2 months, from around June to August, I kept doing research, and I started finding some people that are saying that something fishy and weird is going on here. For example, this user here called Alice mentioned here that she's been watching the reviews for this book for months, just like I did, and they're pretty unhinged. Alice then mentioned there's a certain author who has a beef with Sarah Mughal Rana, and who may or may not have a habit of creating fake Goodreads accounts, and it's not hard to think that is related. So that was the first time I heard anyone actually give another side to maybe what's going on here. On Reddit, a user called Questions for Writers said that this isn't true, the harassment, but there's a person making those comments is review bombing and is clearly a troll hiding behind burner accounts. And then the comments below said that yeah, they look like troll and it looks like it's the same person. And I don't know why, but up until August, I hadn't really thought that maybe it was the same person. But looking back at those reviews, all of them are very similar. So is this another person just creating burner accounts and harassing Sarah? And then this post here on Reddit says that she did find a review of the author's sister critiquing reviews in the comment section, but she also mentioned here that she can't seem to find sources on the full scenario of what happened. She says, I was searching a bunch of different keywords on the search and could find only a few more vague comments like this. So people were now starting to catch on. Something weird is going on here. So at this point, I felt like I had almost enough evidence to make a video to at least warn people that, you know, maybe this author here is a horrible person and maybe this author is doing these things. But I also felt at that stage in August that I had enough evidence to at least let people know that they should not be judging this book by the things that are floating out on the internet, because there's simply no evidence. I haven't been able to find anything. But I just thought then, why do I not just reach out to the author and confront her and be like, I've been seeing what's going on here. Can you let me know what is happening behind these reviews? So I reached out to Sarah and I waited around 6 days, and then she replied and she was like, do you want to jump on a call with me? I'll explain everything. Of course I did. Now, unfortunately, I did not record that conversation actually for legal reasons. I'll get more into that later on, but I will give a recap of what she's told me. She then basically said that for the past 2 years, and this is her words, she has been serial harassed and stalked by one other person in the industry that has created tens of different accounts across the internet and has been spreading hate and these vile accusations again and again and again. That was shocking. And then she was like, I have proof and I am taking legal action. And I was like, okay, what's the proof? She then said, I have a drive of more than 100 screenshots and I'll show some here, and so many more. And she just told me, if you want to have a look, you can have a look at all of them. There are some shocking things in there. And I then started digging, and this is where the story just goes from being semi-crazy to absolutely insane. So before I go into the story, I need to be very clear here. I am not going to be stating any author's names here for legal reasons. So some of the posts and emails and stuff like that was shared with me do mention specific authors and publishing houses, and there's emails and stuff like that. I need to blur all those things because I cannot leak those things for legal reasons, because apparently Sarah is now taking legal action against the person they are very confident is behind all of this. But I also want to state here, because I know this video is going to come across now as very, very biased. I've been obsessing over the story for more than 4 months, nearly to 5 months, but I do not want to come across as someone that doesn't believe allegations are made against Sarah, because even though I haven't found a single shred of evidence, I just want to let you know, if anyone is out there watching this video and you have firm evidence that Sarah has done one or multiple of the things that I'll cover later on this video, please let me know. Send me the evidence and I'll happily make a follow-up video. I'm just at a point now where I've looked at hundreds of screenshots, I've looked at the story for 4 months, I've talked to the author twice. I have not been able to find a single evidence that any of these allegations are true, and the fact that Sarah is taking legal action is almost enough for me to believe that she is innocent, for the sole reason that if this is actually taken to court, everything will be exposed, and if you are behind these things, then you know that people will finally realize that you are an harasser if she's actually doing the things she's been accused of. So that's it. Please send me the evidence if you have any. I will happily make a full video, because I just want the truth to come out. But this is where I'm at this moment in time, and I feel like I'm confident enough to actually be able to share some of it with you. But I feel like someone will watch this video and be like, Johan, you know at this point that this is not the first time that Sarah has been accused of harassing reviewers. She was also in a drama scandal around 2 years ago. Now, I'll not go into much detail of that drama. I'll post a screenshot here. You can pause the video now and read into it. I have talked to the author and I read online, and it's the most confusing drama of all time. I had not even been able to fully understand what happened. My understanding is that Sarah, she has a sister who has a Bookstagram account. Her sister posted some really negative reviews on her Bookstagram account a couple of years ago towards a couple of authors. She did not enjoy those books, and due to Sarah's sister being negative on some reviews, allegations started coming that Sarah was secretly behind this Bookstagram account and was harassing reviewers. That is my understanding of the drama. I have not been able to find a single shred of evidence that that's true, and since that was so long ago, I want to be careful of linking what's happening now to that past drama that may or may not be interlinked. I don't know, and I'll be moving on now because I just don't know. So let's now unwrap the story. The story here begins on the 3rd of May 2024 when a public person sends an email to Sarah's literary agent. And this person here, and this is the reason why Sarah knows, according to her, who is behind all this serial harassment. Because this person here uses their private email, or their email with their names on it, and contacts Sarah's literary agent. And in this email, which I cannot share for legal reasons, this person in this email makes allegations towards Sarah that Sarah is known for harassing reviewers through private Goodreads accounts, and then also alleges that Sarah has been doing this since 2022 because she was basically disappointed that another big publisher didn't pick up her book. Bit weird, but this email here, which again I can't show you for legal reasons, is massive, because before everything really kicks off on the internet, this person, I believe, that's probably behind this, allegedly, makes a huge mistake and send an email from her personal email. We have a name attached to it where these allegations started really popping up. And you will now start seeing this story unravel from here, because it's insane. Now jump forward 4 months, and then on the 8th of September 2024, another email is then sent to Sarah's editor-in-chief. But this time, it is from an, you guessed it, anonymous email. But this other email here that, unfortunately, again, I can't show you. You can decide if you trust me on this or not. Again, alleges crazy things, but this time the allegations escalate. This email here alleges that Sarah has a reputation of being a bully among South Asian readers, has a traceable history of harassment and abusive behavior, has apparently orchestrated hate campaigns, has endangered other authors' safety, has openly mocked victims for getting what they deserve, and apparently accuses everyone who doesn't give her 5 books for being racist. She has doxed authors in the past, and then she has been the reason why other authors are receiving severe threats and threats of MS at book events. I need to blur some of these words because otherwise my channel will receive a strike. So at this point in time, more than a year ago, the allegations being sent to Bloomsbury Books are pretty unhinged. And like the third or fourth red flag here when I saw this went off in my head. These allegations are not only like crazy, but they're also quite specific. Why haven't I found anything online a whole year later that these allegations are true? I haven't been able to find a single shred of evidence, but there's more. On October 19th, 2024, suddenly an anonymous Instagram account pops up called Anonymous2389. This Instagram account is still live at time of recording, but I wouldn't be surprised if it suddenly got deleted. But this anonymous Instagram account that has like 2 followers post a 10-page document statement about Sarah. This statement is so crazy long that it's going to take a whole video just to read it, but I'll just read some of the things I found interesting. This post says, "Are we ready to talk about how it's not a coincidence that 2 of the biggest book internet hate campaigns happened to Alex Astor and Molly Chang?" I've been looking into this. As of now, I have not been able to find a single shred of evidence that there's been 2 big internet hate campaigns against any of these authors. If I'm wrong, send me the evidence. I'm open for my mind to being changed here, but I just haven't found evidence. The statement continues that Sarah Rana has also bullied and harassed reviewers of her first book, Hope Ablaze, until they either got deleted or the accounts got deleted. And the statement just goes on and on and on, ranting about Sarah. There's like 10 pages to the statement. But I was so excited when I saw this, because at the end of the statement, it states, "Evidence is linked in our bio." Oh, when I saw this, I was like, jackpot. I've been searching now for 3 months at this point of time. I have been looking for any firm evidence that these crazy allegations are true. And finally, I have some. I go to the bio and I click on the link. And initially, I was really worried because this looks like a virus kind of link. I clicked on it and the link loaded. And it loaded. And it loaded. And it loaded. And I was like, nothing is happening. I exited. I clicked on it again, and it just loaded and loaded. I tried 3 times. I was not able to access this link a single time. There's just nothing on this link when I clicked on it, which meant I again hit a dead end. Sarah is being accused of insane allegations. I thought I found evidence, but the link doesn't work, so I had to keep on looking. So now the story continues. On the 1st of December 2024, so we're still 11 months ago, another anonymous email is sent, but this time it's sent to loads of different publishing houses, literary agents, and this email is the craziest emails of all of them. And you kind of see when you look at this that the allegations, they go from being quite extreme to more extreme to totally unhinged. These allegations just escalate through these emails. Now, this email here now alleges that Sarah has a history of harassing readers, authors, and inciting blatant smear campaigns. You've heard this before. But now we have some new allegations. Now, allegedly, she's also someone spreading anti-Semitic lies. And then allegedly, Sarah has also accused a very famous author of being racist and homophobic, and Sarah has also accused this other incredibly famous author for being someone that cheers for the bombing of Muslim babies and for being a GS. I'm going to post that up here. This email goes on to allege that Sarah has sent DH and also BT. I know I'm talking like computer language here, but the language is so extreme I can't say all of it. It goes on to say that 2 other authors have received DT again and also mass racial abuse. And then another author, there's so many authors in this email being named here, have been called racist and also supporter of G and also Islamophobic. Allegedly, this email also then says that Rana has used anonymous accounts to tell other people to hang themselves and that their ancestors will be ashamed of themselves. Also, Sarah has harassed a young Iranian girl so much that she's experienced trauma. And then lastly, it mentioned that Sarah has incited huge hate harassment campaigns when anyone tries to debunk her lies. Look at this list of allegations. This is insane. Initially, when I started this investigation and I looked on Goodreads, I was like, okay, this author is being accused of this. This is the full list of allegations. And guess what? I've been looking for 4 months and I've not been able to find, as of now, and I'm willing to get my mind changed, a single shred of evidence that any of these allegations have any truth behind them. I am open for my mind to being changed, but at this stage, when I saw that email, I started feeling like the conclusion is that Sarah here is probably innocent, and someone is out there trying to destroy her life and her career for reasons that are just unknown to me. And I don't understand them. And guess what? I actually have more evidence that these reviews and stuff like that are probably fake. Now look at this review here from May the 1st, where someone mentioned that Sarah has already started making fake accounts and sending her family and friends to harass her. Guys, this review came out May 1st this year. ARCs were not out at that point. Let me repeat. No reviewer had access to this book here. So whoever Seth is that wrote that review is clearly someone spreading hate for no reason. Definitely not hate towards this book here, because they couldn't have read the book. And you also see it from some of the comments down below that people are calling it out that this book isn't even out. So what are you talking about? I then started looking a bit more into these accounts I showed you in the beginning, and it's really, really strange. Here we have an account with a hate review. This account was created in July 2025, and the same month, a hate review is posted to Sarah's Goodreads profile that mentioned all the things we've all gone through. Here we have another account created in July 2025, and then another hate review from this anonymous Goodreads account. Here we have another, again, account created in July 2025, and again, a review posted to Dawn of the Firebird that is just spewing these same allegations. Here we have another one, but this account here that was created July 25 is also friends with 2 of the other newly created accounts, which kind of makes it look like that those 3 newly created accounts know each other, because why are they friends on Goodreads? Very, very strange. And there were like 5 more accounts here, just newly created, posting these reviews that sound like the same thing again and again and again. There's never a real face behind any of these accounts, and it's a real shame because all these anonymous accounts here are anonymous. If I wanted to reach out to any of them, I wouldn't know who I was chatting to. They have no friends, no history, nothing. And I just don't understand if these accounts, which again, they mention again and again, there's so much evidence allegedly that Sarah does these things. Where's the evidence? Why haven't they posted evidence? And at this point, I thought, okay, there's no evidence out here. There are serial harassment going on, until I found an account called Leah Bloomingbury, who allegedly has some evidence, and we're going to be covering that now. It's here where the story becomes truly weird, because initially I thought it was just maybe some emails being sent to Sarah's publisher and then her Goodreads being targeted, but this goes so much deeper, so deep that you can't even imagine. This user here called Leah Bloomingbury is an anonymous account, has like 8 followers, was relatively new created and doesn't have an identity. I don't know who's behind that account. And this user here is not only someone that posts 1-star reviews on Goodreads, but is someone that is actively looking up anyone that tweets about Sarah, Rana, Mughal, or that tweets about this book. Just look at this post here from Threads, or this post here from Threads, or this post here from Threads. All those 3 posts here start with an author or a user talking about they're excited to read this book, and then this user, Leah Bloomingbury, out of nowhere comes and start commenting, did you know that Sarah is an harasser? She is horrible for this, or that reason. We have another post here, here, and here. You can pause the video if you want to. Again, someone is talking about Dawn of the Firebird, and Leah Bloomingbury just pops out of nowhere and starts mentioning these horrible things about Sarah, again with no proof. You can even see this user called A Loves to Read says, I'm still waiting for the proof, but you have none. I'm not the only one that's seeing this. These allegations are so insane, but there's no proof. People are asking for the proof. Where is it? And lastly, another post here, and then again, Leah Bloomingbury arrives and talks about how horrible Sarah is. I don't know who's behind that account, but that person is definitely searching for anyone that is writing about this book and is just trying to hammer the point that Sarah is doing these horrible, horrible things, allegedly. And here we even have evidence of Leah Bloomingbury messaging someone with a warning about how horrible Sarah is. Mate, whoever's behind the account, you need to chill. Just chill, please. Or, better, post some evidence that this is true, because then I will change my mind. Now, I have been quite critical of this anonymous user called Leah Bloomingbury, but I just want to post here that she has on her Threads profile a whole thread of 10 pages where she posts alleged evidence of Sarah doing at least some of these things, well, specifically like harassing Arab reviewers and stuff like that. I have read through that post around 5 or 6 times. I've been trying my very, very best to unpick and understand that evidence, because I'm open for my mind being changed. I'm open for I might be totally wrong by this whole video, and if I am, I will publicly apologize and make a follow-up video and expose Sarah for being the things she's been accused of. I just haven't found any evidence. But at the time of recording this video, the evidence is still, alleged evidence is still on Leah Bloomingbury's page, and I looked through it so often. I need to share some of the evidence with you, and I want you to spot something. So there's around 8 different posts here of Sarah allegedly being behind these allegations and harassment. So the first post here is we have a user called Rana that posts a very critical review of Hobo Blaze, which is Sarah's first book. Now underneath that review, we have a user called Secret that comments, talking about the good tradition. Personally, I never lived in America or any other country with Muslims, being minors there, so I don't know much about the people. But I thought that some folks will still believe in the traditions, no matter how weird it is. Let me know if that does happen or no. Okay guys, quiz time. Did you find Sarah harassing a reviewer here? Did you? I didn't. Allegedly, the evidence Leah Bloomingbury has is that this user here called Secret is an anonymous user and is now harassing this reviewer called Rara. Am I going insane? That is not harassment, and that is not evidence that Sarah is behind doing that. Sorry about that. Well, there's more. Another post here by someone called Char, posting a very critical 1-star review of Sarah's first book, Hobo Blaze, and then underneath that, another user said, it sounds like you're just literally criticizing the book for being Muslim and having Muslim representation. Guys, could you see the harassment? That user there is allegedly Sarah harassing reviewers or sending her friends to harass that reviewer. Is that harassment? I don't see it. And here we have another post, again someone having a critical review of Sarah's first book, and then someone posting a comment, and that's apparently evidence that Sarah is harassing this reviewer. Am I going insane? I have been looking at this for 4 months straight, and this is the best evidence I've been able to find so far that Sarah is a serial harasser. Random users that do not even post harassment comments. I feel like I'm going insane. And from here on, the harassment just explodes and spreads across the internet. I have evidence of Sarah Mughal in reviewers' faces. This user has 3 followers. There's no evidence on their account. I can't find the evidence. Where is the evidence? Look on Storygraph. Here, 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 here. 4 horrible reviews, all stating the same things I've been saying again and again in this video. Again, no evidence. But very interestingly, did you see this? One user on Storygraph is called DLR, which is also the name of one of the Goodreads accounts on Goodreads that also posted a review. DLR. Is that the same person? I don't know, but it looks like it. So why do I care about this? I have not even read this book. Well, I care about this because it is having a real life impact on the author. I want to reiterate, I am not stating that I 100% know that Sarah is innocent. I want the truth to come out, and if anyone has evidence, let me know. I will change my mind. But if Sarah is innocent, which I think is looking more and more and more likely as I've been looking into the story for 4 months and reviewed hundreds of screenshots, then it just means that something incredibly serious and very, very unfair is going on, where people are making real life business decisions to not read a book because of lies they believe online, because they are everywhere. For example, look at this big Bookstagram account with 32 followers posting that this user was not interested in reading this book because of the reviews on Goodreads. And this user publicly let all their 32,000 followers know about Sarah being someone that goes out and allegedly harasses reviewers. And now I'm sure hundreds, if not thousands of people saw that post and actually started believing that this author here is doing these things. That might be true, but those reviews are not evidence of this author doing any of these things. You can see this review on NetGalley where a reviewer has mentioned here at the bottom that the author has been acting unprofessionally towards reviewers. But where's the evidence? I think that reviewer is probably basing that allegation on the Goodreads reviews out there, which in my opinion are probably made by some kind of hater or anonymous user. Another user here is stating that they're not picking up this book because of the low reviews on Goodreads. Again, the low reviews on Goodreads are not only due to these haters accounts. There's definitely loads of really good and fair critical reviews on the Goodreads account, but there's so many as well hateful ones that fortunately have now been deleted. So I'm not stating obviously that every review on that Goodreads account is fake, because fortunately Goodreads have been deleting most of them, but especially like around a month ago, but still going on, there were so many of these hate reviews, and it was having an impact where people just lost interest in this book at all. Here another review on NetGalley stating here that they cannot in good conscience rate this book because the author has been bullying reviewers. Again, I think this user has probably seen the Goodreads reviews and made a call out of that. And obviously I'm not stating that I'm judging anyone for believing those, because you've seen tens of different accounts stating the same things that you start believing it. I don't blame you. It has looked overwhelmingly likely that Sarah has been doing some dodgy stuff, at least when you don't look deep into it. But what is my conclusion? So I've been obsessing over this story for 4 months, and I definitely could have used my time better. But after having looked through hundreds of screenshots, I have searched through the internet, Twitter, Reddit, Goodreads. I've talked to the author twice. I think the conclusion here is pretty fair. At this moment in time, I think it is very likely that Sarah is innocent for the following reasons. Firstly, I have not been able to find a single shred of evidence that anything she's been accused of is true. Secondly, she is actively taking legal action against this one other person that she believes is behind it, which means that she's so confident that she's innocent that she's willing for everything on her side to be exposed to the light if it goes to court. Thirdly, I have found overwhelming evidence to the contrary that one person is behind this, creating these burner accounts and harassing Sarah for reasons that are unknown to me. I just do not understand that if any of these allegations, and I'll show you the full list here again, are true, then why have I not been able to find a single shred of evidence to back it up? Let me reiterate, these allegations started more than a year ago. There's been a whole year of internet where people could have posted firm evidence online, and I haven't found it. I'm sure that when this video goes out, the story now is going to start to develop, and maybe some people will actually come out and be like, you know, the reasons why people didn't come out with any evidence is for that reason or that reason. Here's evidence. If that's the true, I will apologize and I'll make a full video. But at this moment in time, I just felt like I needed to speak up on behalf of Sarah. She's not paying me. She has not asked me to make this video. But I just felt sorry for Sarah because her career is almost looking like someone's trying to destroy it. And these allegations are so clever, aren't they? If Sarah comes out and publicly acknowledges what's going on, you know that that will basically give evidence to whoever is behind these reviews to say, look, Sarah is in reviewer spaces. She's been reading the reviews and she's now acknowledging them. And that will basically make Sarah look guilty. And that's, I believe, is probably the reason why she hasn't stated anything, because if she states anything, it will look like evidence that she's doing these things. But if she doesn't say anything, then it also looks like evidence that she's doing these things. I'm not saying that this book, Dawn of the Firebird, deserves to be universally loved. I don't say it deserves to be hated. I just think at this moment in time, this book here deserves to be critiqued on its literary merit. If it's a really bad book, fine, give it 1 star. That's absolutely fine. If it's a good book, give it a good star rating. But I'm begging you, do not make a decision to not read this book because of the reviews that are out there, unless if you have evidence that shows that any of them are true. I really tried my best to be fair here. There's so much more to this story that I just couldn't go into it. As I said, there's hundreds of screenshots I've been looking through, but they basically tell all the same story. Alright, and just as I was about to wrap up this video, I thought I had officially concluded my investigation. Sarah has come out and has actually publicly talked about this whole situation now. So she came on a podcast. I will leave the full link in the description down below. And this is what she said.
It's been scary. I have been getting harassed. I have been getting defamed for almost 2 years now. As a debut, I didn't think I would have to spend the 6 months leading up to my book coming out, going to the police station, hiring expensive lawyers. Sadly, when you are a author and publishers are supporting you, sometimes you become the target of bad people, and sometimes those people are within the industry. And in my case, when I started getting harassed, I had someone, what police and myself suspect is one person behind multiple accounts, spreading disgusting things about me. When I got a team together to collect all the evidence, they collected over 50 accounts dedicated just to harassing me a year and a half before
What?
my book came out, before ARCs were sent. So people might be like, oh, what if it's real? No, this was before ARCs. Before ARCs. I think I reached a point where I just wanted to quit writing. But if it wasn't for such a supportive team I have of my agent, my publisher, I think it says a lot that no matter how bad the defamation gets, how bad the harassment got, and no matter what people want to believe, the fact that my publishers have always had my back because they know I'm completely innocent, like 1,000% innocent. Being quiet and passive is not how you get to them. It's being unapologetic. It's giving the book the best foot forward. And so the real reviewers have helped drown out this noise of this persistent harasser.
Yes.
That was a big learning lesson for me that I need to keep going. Fortunately, in the past few weeks, people have realized that I've been getting defamed and I've been silent about it, and I don't want to be silent anymore.
All right, so there you have it. Sarah has now officially stated that my theory is correct, as long as she's not lying, and I don't think she is. This investigation has been wild. Thanks for watching.